Hello, good day, and you're welcome to the first Monday live stream section with Coach Choma Okoli. Today being the second day of December 2024. And guess what? I am super excited to have you here on the live stream with me. Thank you so much for making our time to be here. It's going to be an amazing moment here. The next few minutes of this section of this stream, we'll be looking at the five hearts. Yes, hearts, HATS, not HEARTS. The five hearts you must put on as a postpartum parent. Yes, it's a must that you have to put this hat on if you want a smooth sail in your postpartum period. Trust me on this. I've been through three successful postpartum periods, and so I am telling you from my own experience and from the experience of people I know and patients that I've come across. Okay, so it's um this is like the do I put it do I call it an expo, especially for people who are still pregnant or people who are yet to begin their journey into the postpartum period. Probably you're still pregnant, or probably you're still considering getting pregnant, or you'll be pregnant someday. So if you are in this category I just described, you're still pregnant, or you're planning to be pregnant someday, maybe not now, but someday, you are actually listening to senior insights. Yes, that's what I choose to call it. You're actually listening to senior insights. And if some of us were privileged to have had this information before we started our journey into the postpartum period as a parent, our journey would have been different, totally different. And if you are pregnant, probably you're close to term, or you've had your baby like me. Yes, I'm a postpartum parent. I had my second son and my third child um, some 8 weeks ago. Yes, will be 8 weeks this Wednesday. So some 8 weeks ago, my son made his triumphant entry. I use that word triumphant here. Triumphant entry into the world, and a lot has changed since his arrival in my life, in the dynamics of my family, in the way things are being done, and everything. And we are happy that we're making the adjustments and the changes. Okay, so if this is your first time of coming on board here, I'm sure you're wondering who is this person. My name is Chioma. I'm Coach Chioma Okoli, and I am excited to have you on this live stream. Okay, even if you're going to watch this as a replay, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy, which is an outfit that is committed to working parents or couples through pregnancy to the first 6 years of raising their children. Yes, from pregnancy to the first 6 years. So I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy, and I believe that our world, the only chance our world has at being safe, is by couples being safe in its entirety, and the families and the children we raise being sane. So if we are sane and safe, and we have a family that is sane and safe and raise children who also represent this safety and sanity, then our world will be safe and sane. I do not know how long it's going to take for this to be achieved, but if you and I are bold enough to take on this journey, then um, how long it will take would be shorter. Yes, because it said that a tree does not make a forest, so it needs collaborative efforts collaborative efforts for the for the change that we want, for the good positive change that we want to be made manifest and become the reality that we're all walking to. All right. So we'll be talking about the five hats that you must wear as a postpartum parent. These are different words that are you're asking what is she talking about. Do not worry, I'm going to take my time to break them into bits that we'll all understand and be on the same level. Okay, and so if this is your first time of listening to us, so this is the first time you're checking on this channel, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hop on the click on the notification bell so that next time when we go live you'll be notified, even if you're busy. Okay, you'll be notified of um, um, an updated section, and you do well to catch a replay as soon as you can. Now, here is value part. So you want to take your seat and really relax on this channel. And if you're a parent who have toddlers, you can check do well to check the videos we have before now. There is a master there is a boot camp that we organized for parents of toddlers earlier in the year, around August this year. And it's many of the parents who took time to watch those clips kept saying how useful it is, or it has been in their parenting with their little children. So you really want to take a look at those videos and do well to move on. Now, one thing I'd like to say to us as parents is that the world is moving. All right, the world is moving really fast, and our only chance at catching up with it is by listening, positioning ourselves in places that will get the right information to work with. And not just information, but proven information and knowledge that we can implement. And that's another important thing. If you know and you're not doing, then you know not. If you have a knowledge that you're not putting into use, if you have a knowledge you're not implementing or executing, then you are as good as one who does not know or who does not have the information. So you want to position yourself in a parenting academy that will walk you through your parenting. You don't have to do your parenting in trial and errors. You don't have to do it blindly. You don't have to get all the headaches there is before you start working on the right path and doing things the way it should be. So kindly identify the academy that suits that tells you what you should do and holds you accountable to really do those. It has become a need in the present generation. It is a need. And if you fail to do that, that means you're not just holding yourself down from growth and development, you're also holding your children, and definitely the ones that will come after them. Because it is Coach Wendy Ologe that will say that the battles you fail to fight, your children will first start fighting those battles before they now start the ones that is before them. So there is need your due diligence as a parent now so that your children can start on a flat ground to fight the battles before them. All right. So back to what we are talking about, the five hearts. So um heart here is used as a metaphor. Okay? Yeah. And what is a metaphor? A metaphor is a figure of speech that uses a word or phrase to suggest a likeness or analogy between two things. So, what is the significance of a heart? What is the significance of a heart? Why are we using it as something to wear as a postpartum parent? Okay, let's look at the the four likeness, the four things that we can liken this heart to. Number one is role. Now, when the typical um police officer would wear a hat that would differentiate him from an army officer. The typical army officer will wear a hat that will differentiate him from a civil defense officer. And let's even take it away from the people in the forces. A nurse who is in a hospital setting wears a hat that distinguishes her as one, or that distinguishes her as one. All right. And then art generally is something that shows the role a person is playing. Okay. So when I talk about the five hearts, it's about the role you should be playing. The role you should be playing. Okay. And then another thing is thinking. Another implication of the metaphor of heart to what we are talking about is thinking. Your thought pattern, or your thoughts, um, your thought pattern. How are you supposed to think? Now, one of the biggest mistake we make is that because pregnancy come one of the biggest mistake we make is that because pregnancy come naturally to some people, it's easy. They just that the things that follow pregnancy, labor, delivery, and the postpartum period come naturally. Some of them you must learn. And if you do not learn them, you're going to pay for your ignorance. It may not be in monetary terms. It could be as as common as a loss of your peace of mind, a loss of confidence, a loss of courage. It could be a loss in the seemingly little things that will accumulate to make us look for the old us that used to be confident, that used to be, prime and proper, that used to be um, up to date with things and all of that. So there is really a lot we need to learn in different things, in different areas of our lives. The fact that something is common does not mean you don't have to do something extra to come out of it better than every other person. We often fall into wanting to this ditch of social proof. Yes, social proof is like when we base our reasons for doing something on what every other person is doing. So because every other person goes for photo shoot when they are pregnant, then let's do it. Because everybody once they put to bed, they start posting their babies every day, then let's do it. No, that is you doing something because other people are doing it, or because you're seeing other people do it. That is social proof. That's the whole idea about social proof. You're doing something simply because other people are doing it. That's a that's a wrong reason to do a thing. In fact, I would say um, there is no word like wrongest, but I would say it is the wrongest reason. Yeah, wrongest. Something that is common in Nigeria, one of our Nigerian English, and it means the worst. It's one of the worst reasons. Are there areas where social proof are of importance? Yes, but you must determine. You should be sure that, aside the fact that many people are doing it, I've seen that the reason for this, why people are doing this, is this particular thing, and it's going to be of favor. It's of interest to me because I've seen it's going to be useful. All right, because one of the things we also need to do, okay, uh, we need to get our thinking straight so that we can lead our children, we can direct our children in light. All right. Then another thing, we could liken the heart, the metaphor of heart, to another explanation of the metaphor of heart is identity. If you are a first-time mom, um, this is your first postpartum experience. You have a lot to be grateful for this section, really. Okay, so how do you want to be identified? I'm using a first time mom. I also mean a first time father. By the time I will describe postpartum parents, then we'll strike the balance. But even if I use her, still understand I'm talking to the man where it applies. All right. So when you talk about heart, you also talk about identity. Remember when I mentioned a police officer, when I mentioned an army officer, the heart identifies them as a member of a certain group. So, what is the identity that you must wear? So, talking about the five hearts, we're talking about the identities you must wear, the things you would want to be identified by. Because, yes, you first have to want to be identified by something for you to start working towards that. It's okay if the things you want to be identified by are not realities in your life now, but you can work at it. Yes, you can work at it. And you need to be held accountable to achieve that. All right. Okay. Then the next thing is authority and power. Authority and power closely related to identity. If you identify as a thing, you have authority and power to execute that. Authority is um authority is like the permission to do a thing, all right, the right to do a thing. And power is the execution of the thing right to do. Power is the execution of the things that you have right to do. Okay, so the heart, as we're going to explain here, is with regards to role, is with regards to thinking, is with regards to identity, is with regards to authority and power. All right, so why do we need to wear these hats? Really, why do you need to wear all of the five hats we are going to mention? You're going to wear the hats because if you don't wear them, there is going to be a hat that will be worn nonetheless. Yes. So, have you seen mothers who have children, very little children? The child cries for something. Could be something basic as wanting a change in diaper because the child has pulled, or the diaper is full, okay, with urine. And the mother is being, the parent or the adult with the child is being irritable. Why are you being irritable? The child is simply giving communicating to you that I need my diaper changed, and you're being irritable. Why? Because that person is wearing the heart of an irritable parent. That's the identity that person has created for him or herself. Yes. So when I say that, if you don't decide the hat you want to wear, there are definitely the ones that will be on your head, whether you're conscious of it or not. All right. So it's better you decide the hats you want to wear and run by them. Wear them um with your full chest and with your shoulders really high. Oftentimes, if we are intentional in this regard, we really do not need to explain ourselves to people, especially people who are not wearing the same hat with us. Yes, so there are moments when you do the things you do. It's the same thing with values. When you have a certain thing as a value, you really do not have to work hard. It's like it's okay. But do I call it work hard? You really do not have to explain yourself to the next person. It's your value, for crying out loud. They have their own value. You may not even they may not ask, they may not explain themselves to you, and you may not even bother to tell them or ask them why they have such a value. It's fine, that's their value, provided it's not affecting you. What I'm trying to say is that we should come to the place where we are specific. We are not carried by the wind. We're not just flowing because the world is moving, and the seconds, the minutes, the days and weeks and months and years are counting, and we are just rolling with it. There is no, we do not have something we are holding on to because this is what we believe in and this is what we want done. Okay, so if you don't wear these hats intentionally, if you don't select the hats you want to wear, there are definitely ones that are going to be on your head. And trust me, you may not like the result at the end of the day. All right, so I don't know who has joined us. Kindly tell me hi on the chat so I would acknowledge who it is that is watching me, that is watching me live. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so um I just trying to explain why we should wear the hats, the five hats that we're going to explore soon. And for how long will the hats be on? That's another important question we should ask. How long will, hey Manela, Nice to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. So, how long will the heart be on? Well, the heart should be on for as long as it's useful. By the time we look at those hearts, you know why I'm choosing that explanation. It should be on for as long as is needful. Maybe for as long as you live, or maybe for as long as your child is young, or maybe you I leave you to decide that part. Okay. So um what are the five hearts? What are the five hearts? We've settled the basics, so let's fly on. All right, so the first heart is what I call the heart of the gift that keeps giving. Yes, the heart of the gift that keeps giving. So you are a parent, you are a mother, you are. Okay, I said I was going to explain postpartum parent. Yes. Okay, so who is a postpartum parent? Now, technically speaking, the postpartum period is a period that lasts from the time a woman puts to bed until 6 weeks. Okay, so most times the woman puts to bed, she goes home with her child, and then if she's told that if there is anything out of the norm within the 6 weeks period, please do present to the hospital. And then at 6 weeks, the woman goes to what we call child welfare clinic, where she and her child is examined, and they are now free from the postpartum period. So, in the area of medicine, this is what we call the postpartum period. However, I would choose to describe the postpartum period as the period where the parent is trying to get a hang of the new child. So, for me, this would definitely last longer than 6 weeks. For some persons, a lot of complications come in that within the first 6 weeks, they don't even know what is going on with their child. So by the time they come back from the complications, or by the time they come back to settle with their new one, they are beginning to learn this child for the first time. They are beginning to understand how does this child behave, and I know this is what the child is trying to communicate with to me. How and a whole lot of hows. Okay, so for that mother who started getting herself maybe 2 months after putting to bed, for me, I believe that the postpartum period is not over for this woman because the things she's supposed to have gotten used to, she didn't get to do that. I'm using the woman here. And then for the man, you may not gotten to bond with this child, but you not gotten to know who this child is physically on the physical on surface. And so you cannot call you, yes, because I believe there is something like a postpartum dad. All right. Um, I believe that both mother and father and child should be carried along. You know why? What impacts the father will one way or the other impact the mother and the child in different fronts. I've seen a woman not follow their wives to antenatals and they don't even do anything specially to monitor their health. So you see that the man breaks down, comes down with illness, and the woman is running helter skelter, going on admissions, doing a whole lot to now manage a man that is down with illness. And this is probably an illness that would have been prevented if the man was doing as basic as checking the blood pressure, as basic as just saying, I've been having headache for a while. What do I do? I'm going for a simple consultation. And something now happens. Of course, aside the physical strain on the woman and probably the other children, if there had been other children, there is also a whole lot of other strain. Of course, the money that will be used for the admissions, for investigations, and what have you. And if your healthcare schedule is one that you pay out of pocket, you know what that means. Okay, so in the area when I discuss pregnancy, postpartum, and I include the father because the father is an important piece in parenting. Fatherhood is an important office in parenting, and pregnancy and postpartum is also important. So, what is my definition of postpartum parent? Postpartum parent is a parent who is getting to know the child they just had. Full stop. Well, you may not agree with me, but that's what I mean when I say postpartum parent. And now we're on the same ground. Let's fire on. So I say the first hat that you have to put on is the hat of a gift that keeps giving. Yes, that may sound scary, actually, it should be, but that's not the goal. Why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to scare you, I'm saying you to bring you to reality that there is such a thing as a gift that keeps giving. So let me start from the woman. For 280 days, or what normally we call 9 months journey of pregnancy, or 40 weeks. It could be less than that, actually, could be 37 or 40 weeks plus or minus 2 weeks, okay? Whichever duration your own lasted, all right? You were a gift. You allowed yourself to nurture this child. You allowed yourself to nurture this fruit, this gift that God has given to the world through you. And so you are part of the gift of the child that we have. If that child didn't have you to incubate and nurture that child until delivery, that child would not have been. Yes. Okay. And then for the father, you definitely played a significant part that led to the conception in the first place. And why the journey went on, I my sincere thanks to every father, every husband who is there and supports their wife through pregnancy. Thank you so much for your effort in making the world a safer place. Okay. And I encourage you to continue. However, However, after the child comes, please do not feel that you've done so much that you should take a leave. Okay? Do not think you've done so much that you've not been appreciated for. If you feel you've not been appreciated, or you're not being appreciated for what you're doing, then this is what you need to have a conversation with your spouse. Okay? Work on communicating that point. Don't just switch up because you feel you're not being appreciated or you're doing so much. At any point in time that you want to feel you've done so much or you're doing so much, please remember that you're supposed to have the heart of a gift that keeps giving. You are a gift to your wife. You are a gift to that child, and you are a gift to the world. So God has given the world this gift through you and your wife. And no matter what you've done, at no point should you feel you've given so much. Yes. At no point should you feel you've given so much. You have what you have. Probably you have what you have to do the things you've done and to do the things you will do. So while I've thanked you for being there, I'm also asking you to wear that heart of a gift that keeps giving. If you have that heart on, the attitude with which you go through the postpartum period will be it will be that of a positive one. And you will not suffer the overwhelm and the resentment that a lot of fathers go through this period. Okay. And so the second one is, and okay, one of the things that the scriptures would say to us is that each of us should use whatever gifts we've been given to serve others. And who are these others that we will serve outside our home, outside God, our spouse, and our children? So who are the others we really want to serve outside without first serving those we are inside with? Okay, so let's give priority here. Let's give the let's give our attention to the things that are priority and move down the scales to other things. Okay. All right, so we'll get that. What the point, the place I just read is from First Peter 4, from verses 10 to 11. That's from the Bible, in case you're not a Christian. Okay, all right. So the next point, the next heart is the reality heart, the heart of reality. You know, when we are pregnant or when we, let me say this before we go on. There is no perfect pregnancy anywhere. You see this story of I had a perfect pregnancy, my wife had a perfect pregnancy, my family went through the perfect pregnancy. There is no such thing anywhere. No, there is no such thing as a perfect pregnancy anywhere. Call me anywhere, any day. I will appear and answer. There is no such thing as a perfect pregnancy. Okay? So don't even be pressured. All right. Now, when we talk about when I talk about the heart of reality, is that before we get pregnant, or while we are pregnant, we are fantasizing how we want things to be perfect, how we want this one to go this way, how when we put to bed, our mothers will be there, our mother-in-law will be there, everybody will be there just for you. News flash. The fact that you put to bed is a wonderful thing. We'll all rejoice with you, or we'll all rejoice with you if you're still pregnant or yet to get pregnant. By the time you put to bed, we'll all rejoice with you. Whether we are there or not, we are rejoicing with you. However, understand that people's life will not be on hold simply because of you, or simply because of you and your child, or simply because of you and your family. People have to move on, and life has to move on. You know why I'm saying this? So that you extend grace when people don't meet up to your expectations. I use myself for instance. Yes, I had my third baby last month, and the first two I had, I was privileged to have my mother come. Although my mother doesn't stay for long, but the few days she stays, okay, she's always stayed 2 weeks in my first and second delivery. So within that 2 weeks, I don't do anything literally. And once the child cries, she's in my room, and except I say, don't worry, let me breastfeed or let me change diaper and all of that, she's always ready to do something to ease up the work of me, and also give me more time to rest and all of that. But in this third one, she couldn't make it because she couldn't leave my dad. All my siblings are away from home, so it's just my parents. And so my mom couldn't afford to leave my dad all to himself to come visit me. And should I be angry? No. Does that mean I have to work harder? Yes. And not just me, every person in the home. We all had to sit up to the reality that my mom is not going to come. And of course, my mother-in-law is alive, thank God. She's there, but she has something she's doing at the moment, and so she can't afford to leave that. And it's a reality we all had to face. No, my mom isn't coming. No, my mother-in-law isn't coming. And so we have to adjust to the reality. Your own story or situation may not be the same with mine, but there is definitely a reality you need to wake up to. It could be the reality that you're away from family and probably away from friends, and so you cannot have some of the luxuries you wished you would have or you looked forward to having. And you need to come to this point of the point of this reality so that you don't be angry at someone, or you don't keep spending the energy you should use to build yourself up in begrudging others. Yes, that's the point. That's the essence of waking up to reality. So face your front, focus on your reality. How do you navigate it? That should be the things you're spending your energy on, and not getting angry at someone else, or pointing fingers, or saying, waiting for the time when you do them back, or stuff like that. Okay, so wake up to the reality in front of you and work with it. If your mother is no longer alive, or your mother-in-law is, or you don't have, your parents are no longer alive, this is not a time to break down because they are not there. Because some of us whose parents are alive don't have them all the time. Yeah, that's one perspective you should know. In fact, there are people who are not in good terms with their biological mothers. So their mothers are alive, but the mothers cannot come. And sometimes, unfortunately, there isn't even anybody who could come. So what if you're in the shoes of such persons? Okay, so wake up to the reality before you. It could be that um whatever area the reality within the postpartum period is facing you, focus on it and brainstorm on how to navigate it. It's not a time to be angry. It's not a time to throw what I call the adult tantrums. It's not a time to dwell in depression. It's a time to think on how to grow from where you are. All right. So the third heart is the heart of the time manager. I was in a phone conversation with a friend. I think about 2 weeks ago. She stays in the US, and we both welcomed our third babies. But she was like a few days or a few weeks ahead of me. All right. So we're saying something. I was telling her how I've had to slow down on some things since I welcomed my third baby. that I really had a lot of expectation and the way I wanted to do a lot of things. But the peculiarity of the time my baby arrived and the things I had in my hands the time he arrived, I had to slow down on a lot of them. And it was a conscious slowing down. I had to find myself first. I had to gather myself together first before I could start flying. And that's key. I was also telling her that we need to, she has shared something very important to me, how she had to move away from regular work so she could face the family. And I was telling her, I was commending her for that choice. I was commending her for that choice. Like my husband would always say, if none of the parents stays home to take care of the children, somebody will have to stay home to take care of the children, or the children will have to go out to be taken care of. But either way, somebody needs to do the job. And you can't compare anyone you're paying to your own presence. It's not comparable. You cannot compare it to. Not just the process. You can't just, it's not just the process that you cannot compare. You also cannot compare the results at the end of the day. Yes, put me anywhere. You cannot compare both the processes and the result at the end of the day. And so when she said that to me, I was excited to hear that from her. And I commended her. So you may not be in the situation where you have to stop going to work, but you see, that period when you're still trying to get to know your child, you need to be close. You need to be close. Like I said, postpartum period is not legally just the first 6 weeks after delivery. I've given explanation of what I mean by postpartum parents. Okay, so if you're a postpartum parent, um, you need to take away the things that are not working. You need to take away the things that are taking your time, scrolling endlessly on social media. uh The truth is, gadget technology has come to stay. Gadgets, phones, tablets, laptops, name them, they've come to stay. All right, and there is no going away for them. But and then we are here on our journey of life. How do we not just be a spectator of these technologies by mastering our use of them? Do not allow them to master you. Do not allow them to be your master. You need to master the usage so that it becomes a tool for you. All right? It becomes a tool for you. And the period where you have a child is not a period where you want to be up with, it's not the time where you want to be updated with everything that is happening. Is it good to have updates? Yes, it is. But there are other things that you need to do before getting those updates. Trust me. There are other things you need to do before getting those updates. If there are groups, if there are associations you are into that and they are not giving you results and they're not giving you what you want, you'll just go there for gist. You just go there to get tips and all of that. No, no, you need to come to the point where you take away the things that are not working and replace them with the things that work. Because at the end of the day, whether you use your time well or not, your child is going to demand from you, especially within the postpartum period. Your child is going to place a demand on you that you will not be able to meet because you are giving time to other things that shouldn't really have your time or that shouldn't really take your time. So within the postpartum, one of the hats you want to wear during the postpartum period is the hat of a time manager, and you need to be really good at that because make a mistake of managing your time well, you're going to lose a part of your existence here that you cannot take back. You can't even buy it back. Not just I can't take it back, you can't buy it back. So you need to be mindful of that and and know how to regulate your time around that. Okay. Then what is the next hat you need to wear? This is what I call the graceful hat. The graceful hat. Okay. You need to wear the graceful hat to your child, to yourself, to your spouse, and to others. Okay. Graceful hat that if I don't know how to do this, okay, learn, ask questions. And that's why the Expectant Parent Academy is here. um I work with pregnant like expectant couples, yes, people who are pregnant and walking through the pregnancy journey in what I call the pregnancy hub. Okay. The cohort is starting in February 2025. So if you're expected to be pregnant or still be pregnant by February 2025, you want to be in this preggie's home, all right? And then I also extend my work with parents within the first 6 years because it's it's not just good to have a good pregnancy journey and delivery, and then the postpartum period. It's also good to sustain the effort, the intentionality with which this good endpoints were achieved. You need to sustain it because, like I said, the world is moving really fast. And if you don't catch up with what is going on, you'll be left behind pretty fast. Yes, you'll be left behind pretty fast, such that by the time you wake up, you're asking what is going on? How did this come to be? How did they all get to do this? And where have I been? And all of that, and all of that. So you really want to wear the graceful heart to yourself that I don't know this. You ask questions, seek wisdom. Don't just seek information. Information is everywhere. Don't just seek information, seek wisdom. Yes, seek wisdom. Okay? So you don't know how to do a thing. Don't dwell in your not knowing. Don't dwell in being down or being angry with yourself or being depressed. Recognize that you don't know how to do this and be humble enough to seek wisdom on how to navigate it. And when I say this, I'm not just talking to the moms, I'm also talking to the moms, I'm talking to the dads. Okay. Now, how do you extend grace to your child? Your child is going to demand a lot from you because in the postpartum period, your child pretty depends on you, on adults to live. Yes. A newborn depends on the adults around to live, and neglect that, and things can go wrong. So the child needs to feed, that child is going to cry. The child needs a diaper change, that child is going to cry. A child is uncomfortable, that child is going to cry. A child can't sleep on the night, that child is going to cry. In fact, within the first few days, once they are awake, they are crying. It's either they are awake and crying or they are sleeping. And it is not something you should get irritated with. It's not something you should get angry with. It's something you should extend grace to that child too. Why? Because the child is not punishing you necessarily. The child is not the child is not punishing you. The child is just communicating on the way he or she is able to. And if you extend grace long enough, that child will grow to the point where if they are hungry, they'll tell you, Mommy, I want to eat food. If they want to wee, they go to the potty. If their diaper is wet, they can take it off. And so you need to extend grace. Okay? And then to your spouse. Like I talked about in the heart of reality, there may be certain things you want that spouse that comes back in the evening and bathes the child, feeds the child, puts the child to bed, and then comes to you to ask, "What do you want to have for dinner?" Okay, he comes to ask you, "What do you want to have for dinner?" And probably takes care of the older children. If they're older children, puts them to bed while you're relaxing. That may be your ideal, but that's not the reality facing you. And you cannot spend your time, your resources, energy, and other things, all of the things that constitute you cannot afford to waste your resources in getting angry, pitying yourself, feeling depressed, and all of that. Why don't you talk about it? Why don't you talk about it? Because the things you don't voice out, the other person may never really get to know them. The other person may never really get to know that these things mean a lot to my wife, or these things mean a lot to my husband. Some parents, some fathers have complained that once their wife puts to bed and there is a new child, it's as if they cease to exist and all of that. Instead of caging that in your heart and getting angry at it and all of that, why don't you talk about it? And you feeling that you're shut out and all of that, I mean, talk about it. Talk about it. You'll be shocked at the things you find out when you start a conversation, because you could be feeling that your wife had abandoned you, but you don't know that your wife is trying to save this child, literally. She may not be doing it the way you want, or she may not be doing it in the perfect way we had discussed before the child came. But you can also do the talking so that adjustments can be made and you'll be accommodated. All right. Okay. So um also you need to extend grace to others. Yes. Like I said, the lives of other persons will continue going on. The fact that we put to bed does not mean the lives of other persons should be on hold. Okay, so some persons may not call you as often as you want. Some persons may not do the things you want them to do. Extend grace to them. The truth is, people are at the different stages of their lives, and you may really not know what people are going through. You may think they are just there enjoying their lives, they've forgotten you, they don't care about you, and all of that and all of that. But that may actually not be the reality. And you could be shocked. You could be shocked if those other persons tell you all they've been through or all they are going through. So learn to extend grace. Learn to extend grace to whoever that needs it, yourself, your child, your spouse, others, in whatever progression it has to be, but learn to extend grace. All right. And the fifth heart you have to put on is the heart of hope. Yeah. The scripture said, there is surely a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Proverbs 23:18. And then um, Philippians 1 chapter 6 says, he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. The day of Jesus Christ is every day. Yes, we know there's going to be a day at the end of life, but each day you wake up is the day of Jesus, because you can actually, for every day that we expect Jesus, is tells us that every day is the day of Jesus Christ. Every day you are alive is the day of Jesus Christ. Okay, so the last part I read said, he who began a good work, he began a good work in you the day you were born. That good work continued until the time conception took place. That good work continued until the whole pregnancy period came to an end. You went into labor, or you went into the theater, you came out healthy with your baby. That good work has continued. And why the reality before you may not be fantastic, I want you to wear the heart of hope that things would get can change if you work at it, that things can be better than it is now if you work at it, that your child that you have very little in your hands can grow. You can change the trajectory of that child, that the child becomes grows to become independent and is able not just to take care of him or herself, but also you, or probably the other siblings. So now you are the one who has to feed. Tomorrow that child could get to the point where at the age of whatever age, depending on how well you do your job, the child cooks and serves you food, probably in bed, or sets the food on the dining. Okay, now you have to wash the child's clothes. If you train that child well, the child will get to the point where the child doesn't just wash and fold your clothes and put them in the closet. The child irons your clothes and you wear it with pride. So, at any point in this postpartum period where you think you're being choked, where you think all of this is too much, the demand is too much, remember that this is a journey you're walking through. Remember the heart of hope and put it on. And know that it can get better than what it is if you put in the work. All right. And so we'll come to the end of the five hearts. So that the first heart is the heart of the gift that keeps giving. The second heart is the heart of reality. The third heart is the heart of a time manager. The fourth heart is the heart of is the graceful heart. And the fifth heart is that of hope. Okay? And so I want to believe it's been a 15 minutes of learning. It's been 15 minutes of opening your eyes to probably perspectives you've not seen things from. It's been 15 minutes. For me, it's been um, an amazing 15 minutes. As I am talking to us, I'm also talking to myself, and I am also picking lessons from the things I'm saying. So I am not speaking from a high place in a horse. No, I'm in this journey also myself. Like I said, my baby will be eight my delivery will be 8 weeks on Wednesday. Today is Monday, so in 2 days time will be 8 weeks. So I am also in this postpartum period. If you listen to my definition of postpartum period, then you know that I am still in this journey of being in the postpartum period. And hey, how is it going at your end? I hope you're not being overwhelmed. I hope you have the help you need. At any point you need someone to reach out to, just feel free to drop your comments in this video, and I'll respond to you. I'm also going to drop my contact at the end of this section. If you have need to reach out to me, kindly chat me up on WhatsApp. If you want a one-on-one sections, you can book that and we'll talk. One of the things I found out is that we hide pregnancy, delivery, postpartum we hide it so much to the point that it's not safe for us. Somebody is confused, going through sad moments or going through things that he or she doesn't understand, and you're not seeking help. I understand that sometimes we don't know who to seek help from, but that's why the Experience Parent Academy is here. And that's why we are starting with expectant couples and we are walking through that. Okay. So once again, thank you for watching this for being on this live stream with me. Thank you so much, Emanuela. The other two persons that joined didn't get to introduce themselves, so I really don't know who you were, but I'm happy you joined. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your time. Okay, and if this is your first time of watching through of what having a moment with us here on the Academy's YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe and hit the notification button. And hey, every Monday by 12 noon, I will be right here to take us on something really going to help us through our journey, um, either as pregnant, as new parents, as parents with children, um, from 0 to 6 um, years. All right. Thank you so much for joining. And the early years parent coaching program, which is for parents who have children from 0 to 6 years, registration for that is ongoing. The first cohort that started in September is still ongoing and will be concluded by December 31st. The second cohort is starting off in January 1st. And for you to be in that group, it will last from January to December. And for you to be in that group, you have to secure your slots. um, um, that would cost you 60,000 naira only, and you will be in a group of you'll be in a group with parents who have children within the same age range. Okay, and we talk about things. We teach you through how to connect with your child as young as 0 to 6, how to teach basic responsibilities, how to teach communication, how to teach you about potty training, and a whole lot of other things that is peculiar for children within that age range. Okay, sometime next year we're going to talk about getting your child ready for academic learning. It's a whole lot that is suited for children just within 0 to 6 years. We could go beyond 6 years, but this is where we are. We are not taking it overboard because we're not stretching beyond 6 years, because I am of the opinion, just like I said in the beginning, the only chance we have at taking care of this chaos in the world and around us is by raising parents and families who would give the society children that are sane and safe. Aside of that, we'll keep praying for things to change and things will keep getting worse. You know what? Because there are key breakthroughs that don't come just by prayers, they come by action, they come by wisdom, they come by implementing the knowledge that we get. And that's what the Expanded Parent Academy is going to do for you. Like I said, aside the early years parents coaching group, which is for parents who have children within the ages of 0 to 6, we also run the Pregis Hub, which is a group for pregnant and expectant couples. That is for 50,000 naira. We run it for 4 months. Yes, the first cohort is starting in February 2025, and it will run for the first 4 months. And then, so if you are a parent who is expectant and would still be pregnant by February, or you're currently pregnant, you want to be in that group. You want to be in that group. And so I'm going to drop my contact on this lead on this video so that you can reach out to me for more information about either the early years parent coaching program or the Pregis Hub of the External Parent Academy. And once again, thank you so much for coming on this live with me. I do not take it for granted. And even if you're catching a replay, thank you so much for coming on board. And once again, I am Coach Chioma Okoli, and I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful moment, and especially a wonderful postpartum period, either now or in the near future. All right, bye.